This is an ABC News special report.
Good afternoon. I'm Phil Lipoff, and we are coming on the air with breaking news for you. A horrific scene unfolding. This is just outside of Chicago. Authorities on the scene of a deadly shooting at a 4th of July parade in Highland Park, Illinois. At least 5 people shot and killed, 19 hospitalized. The victim shot along the parade route. Shots reportedly fired about 10 minutes after the parade started. Authorities reportedly believe the shooter may have been on a roof. Let's listen in to the police.
Hello, my name is Commander Chris O'Neill. First and foremost, we're all grieving for the families and friends who lost loved ones today, those injured, and everyone impacted by this horrific, senseless, random act of violence. I served as the incident commander on scene. I was present at approximately 10:14 when this started. There was an active shooter incident that occurred in downtown Highland Park during our 4th of July holiday parade this morning. This was an active incident, and all individuals are still urged to shelter in place at this time. Highland Park Police and numerous federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies are searching for the suspect. The suspect is currently described as a male white, approximately 18 to 20 years old, with longer black hair, a small build, and wearing a white or blue t-shirt. A firearm has been recovered from the scene. We have secured the perimeter around downtown Highland Park and are continuing our searches. At this time, 24 people have been transported to Highland Park Hospital. 6 are confirmed deceased. Anyone with video, photos, or other evidence are urged to contact Highland Park Police Public Safety Dispatch at 847-432-7730. We will provide a tip line. This information will be in short order. Thank you.
This morning at 10:14, our community was terrorized by an act of violence that has shaken us to our core. Our hearts go out to the families of the victims during this devastating time. On a day that we came together to celebrate community and freedom, we're instead mourning the tragic loss of life and struggling with the terror that was brought upon us. While we've all felt the burden of this terrible act, I want to pause and thank the first responders who ran towards the danger to render aid during this active shooter situation. We saw individuals who responded selflessly and put themselves at risk to save others. We've had an outpouring of support from federal, state, county, and fellow municipalities of resources and offers of condolences and concern, and we will avail ourselves of everything that they offer to us immediately. At this point, we know that 6 people have lost their lives, and we are grieving for them and their families, members of our community who came out to celebrate together and instead faced this terror. Another 24 have been transported to the hospital. Multiple agencies, including the FBI and state police, are working with our local authorities, and the governor has offered his full support. What we know at this time is this is an active situation, and we urge everyone to remain indoors and be on high alert but remain calm. Please contact your loved ones and ensure that they're safe, and let them know that you're safe as well. This situation, as you know, is evolving rapidly, and we will continue to update you as we gain information and stabilize the situation. Thank you.
So from a scene management perspective, at this point, it is still a very active scene. Highland Park Police Department is leading this investigation, as well as the apprehension efforts into the offender involved here. As the mayor said, as the commander said, we're asking everybody stay indoors, stay vigilant right now. This person is not identified. By all means, at this point, this appears to be completely random. So with that, there have been questions that have been coming in. Are events safe tonight? That's up to each individual community to assess on their own, make that determination. But no, this person is not yet in custody. We have hundreds of police officers out here, as the mayor said, from the FBI, the state police, other federal agencies. We have SWAT teams that are going door to door as well. Anybody with any video surveillance is strongly encouraged to contact the Highland Park Police Department so we can take a look at that and it can be useful in our investigation. The FBI is working hand in hand with the Lake County Major Crime Task Force right now, processing the scene. It will be a very methodical processing of the scene, and an investigation has commenced and is underway. We're going to do our very best to provide briefing updates every 30 minutes to an hour if we can. We will keep the community informed. And with that, we thank you for covering this and sharing this information. And again, very sad day here.
What kind of gun was recovered?
It was a rifle.
Do you have any information on where the suspect could be right now? Is he at all barricaded?
There is no indication he's barricaded anywhere or has any hostages. That has been kind of circling around. There is no indication of that. Investigators are very, very quickly working to try to identify who this person is and try to figure out where he's at.
Do you know how many shots were fired?
So it does appear he was shooting from a roof. The roof that he was shooting from, I don't have that information right now.
Do you know how many shots were fired?
So right now there's multiple agencies. Highland Park Police is leading the initial incident response. The Lake County Major Crime Task Force is working directly with the FBI on forwarding the investigation, of course working with Highland Park Police detectives. They're very involved and they will be point throughout all of this.
Any idea how many high-capacity magazine along with...
Not information I can release just yet.
Do you have any evidence he had more than one weapon on him?
Not information I can release just yet. But we would still consider him to be armed and dangerous.
Are you confident it's only one shooter?
At this time, that's the information we have, that it was one shooter.
Any idea how many shots he fired?
We're still working on that.
Where was the gun
We'll take
dropped?
2 more questions. Yes, sir?
Where was the gun dropped? On the roof and then he fled?
We're not going to go into the specifics of where the gun was recovered, but a firearm, a rifle was recovered.
What's the ages?
The ages of those who passed away.
We will have more information on that. We're working with the Lake County Coroner's Office. They, too, are very involved in this investigation, and we will be releasing that as soon as we can. Thanks. We'll be back, okay?
To be clear, though, it's 6 dead and then 25.
We have 6 confirmed deceased, and we have approximately 2 dozen that are seriously injured. Okay, thank you.
All right, you've been listening to a news conference from the Highland Park, Illinois Police Department, and we want to catch you up if you're just joining us on what has happened. They have given us a bunch of information, a lot of information in a short period of time. We do know that 6 people are dead, 24 taken to the hospital after a shooting at this parade. Just 10 minutes or so after the parade began, police tell us that they are looking for, this is an active situation, a very fluid situation. They are looking for a white male, 18 to 20, longer black hair, slight build. And because they are still looking for who they believe to be the shooter in this case, many people have canceled their 4th of July festivities in and around the Highland Park area. Something you never want to hear from police, that this was completely random. They believe this shooting was completely random, and they are still looking for the shooter. They are asking everybody to shelter in place. Just moments ago, I spoke to an eyewitness to this shooting. I want to just alert you that some of his description is pretty graphic. Here's Miles Zarensky.
And then I observed the carnage. People bloodied on the sidewalks. At least a couple people that were in a pool of blood that I observed not more than some feet away before we were all shooed away. Even what looked to be a young boy who looked to me to be lifeless.
ABC News has reported law enforcement and federal intelligence agencies have been concerned about the potential for violence at 4th of July events, even with no credible threats. ABC's Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas joins me now on the phone. Pierre, this is clearly the kind of event that officials were concerned about.
It clearly is. And, Phil, I've been on with federal sources, and they were confirming that there were multiple shots and people who had been killed. They were loath to give out numbers because the situation was fluid, but we heard from that press conference the stunning and sad information that 6 people shot. Others, at least 2 dozen injured. We don't know how many of those were shot necessarily, but it's clearly the mass shooting scenario that law enforcement officials that I've been talking to in recent days have been concerned about. And they were concerned about the lone wolf scenario primarily. People of different grievances, of different motives, perhaps acting out during the 4th of July. Again, they had no specific credible threats. This was just a general concern given the threat environment. We just saw all those people killed in a supermarket in Buffalo. We just had the Uvalde. We had the Supreme Court decisions, which had caused a lot of angst in the country. We had the July congressional hearings about the insurrection. So law enforcement officials were looking at all of these scenarios and being very concerned that different individuals with different points of view might actually act out. And unfortunately, that is what has happened today. Now, they say this is random. We have no idea yet on what the motive is, but law enforcement officials are emphasizing that because this is active, because the shooter is not in custody, even though they recovered a rifle, as the law enforcement official just briefed, there is still concern that the person may have other weapons available, and there's a desperate attempt to find him. The Attorney General of the United States has been briefed, and Homeland Security officials are trying to gather more information. The FBI, as you saw, is on the scene. We expect other federal agencies will be assisting in this investigation.
Right, and when the FBI and all of these agencies tell you the scene is active and to shelter in place, that's what's going to be happening in that area. Pierre, thank you. I want to bring in former FBI agent and ABC News contributor Brad Garrett. Brad, if the shooter did take a position on top of the building, which police are telling us he did, first, what does that tell us about this particular shooter, and how will that inform the investigation as it moves forward?
So it tells me that he really planned this. He picked a location in the proximity of the parade route. He picked apparently the beginning of the parade. There may be a reason for that. He used an assault weapon or a rifle, as they described it, but he left it at the scene. Phil, that's really important because that tells me he didn't want to get caught. How many mass shootings have you and I and others talked about where they get into a gunfight with the police at some point? He didn't want to apparently do that. It's more like Nicholas Cruz at Parkland, who just blended in with the people and disappeared. So organized, a timed shooting perhaps. You can shoot and sadly kill a lot of people in a couple of minutes. It looks like the shooting didn't go on very long, so he has fled. Another important variable is his age, because if he's in the 18 to 20, that means he's probably social media active, which means he may well have talked about doing this prior to committing this shooting. Now, according to them, they don't know who he is, but I'm only suggesting if that element is true, there would be a lot of leads out there from folks he's talking to online. You also have the other advantage, obviously, if he's in a building, if he's in a parking garage, someplace elevated, he had to get there. Many times there are camera systems, CCTV, in buildings, in parking garages, and maybe they've got some good shots of him, and they maybe saw a direction he fled. It's really hard to say, but there's a lot of pieces of this that I think become relevant as you try to figure out who committed this.
And Brad, just quickly, I think that what terrifies people in situations like this, and you think of Las Vegas, someone shooting from a high perch, federal investigators were concerned about something like this. They were concerned about a lone wolf, as Pierre Thomas has told us for days now, and yet it happened even with an increased police presence. How can you stop these things from happening if you can?
You can't. You can't stop them unless you know about them. Now, obviously, let's use Uvalde for 2 seconds. That shooter gets out of a car with a weapon, shoots at people on the street, and goes into the school, okay? He basically announced what he was going to do. This shooter, I'm going to assume, concealed this weapon some way, in a bag, inside his clothing. I don't know how big it is, so we don't know. He goes up to this location, he commits this shooting, and then he leaves. And unless he's talked about this online or talked to a friend or someone else, how would police even know? If he'd have been on their radar screen and they'd heard information 2 days ago that this kid was going to come and possibly shoot at a parade or during a parade, they would have dealt with that. But I'd be shocked if they had any of that information. So that's the big problem here.
All right, Brad Garrett, thank you for the expertise. We do appreciate it. Joining me now is former NYPD Chief of Detectives and ABC News contributor Robert Boyce. Robert, what can you tell us about what we can learn from this weapon. They have the weapon. They don't have the shooter, they tell us. They're still sheltering in place. It is an active situation, but they do have the weapon. So how does that help?
So they can easily, they should be able to, at some point, retrieve that serial number on the weapon, put that into a data system, and see who bought the weapon and when they bought it. If it's looking at all like you're, if I hate to say typical active shooter, but you see these young men now doing this, they just bought the gun. So perhaps they can get something off that because they have to identify him. It's going to be an active shooter, Phil, for situation for quite some time in that area. They're doing grid searches right now. He's not in custody. Also do a social media scrub and to see if there's any kind of language going on about this. If anybody has any video of this individual, the grid search is important. But the rifle, that's the key point here. And it looks like from what witnesses told us, he fired 3 groupings, which means he had fired 3 magazines. Are the magazines there? They can lift a print and see if his print is on file and get DNA down the road to see if they can tie him to this through that. But right now, the issue is that a lot of these individuals have a secondary gun outside their primary, and that's the real threat right now. This is not over. So they're going to be up in Highland Park on this for quite some time. Right now is to get big data going and get it done as fast as possible. And just an issue on elevated snipers. That seems to be the biggest threat we now have at these incidents. A lot of police departments will have someone up on rooftops in varying locations to see that doesn't happen. Clearly, that wasn't the picture here, because as Brad said, they didn't know this was going to happen. But that's the new way going forward. Elevated positions where you can spot these individuals immediately and hopefully stop them before it digresses into this.
All right, Bob Boyce, thank you so much for your expertise as well. Latest numbers we have from the Highland Park Police, 24 transported to the hospital, 6 confirmed dead right now at a 4th of July parade in Highland Park, just north of Chicago. The shooter, police tell us, still on the loose. They are asking everybody to shelter in place in that area and in the surrounding communities. 4th of July events have been canceled because they are still considering this a very active and very fluid situation. Our coverage will continue on ABC News Live and abcnews.com. Full details on World News tonight. For now, I'm Phil Lipoff in New York. Good day.
This has been a special report from ABC News.